I want to start with a provocation. It's a question about the architecture of our own lives that, frankly, it keeps me up at night sometimes.
Okay.
We like to believe we're the captains of our souls, that we're making these conscious decisions every minute, what to eat, when to work.
How to react to a stressful email, yeah.
Exactly. But the more I look at the research, the more it seems like that control might just be an illusion. Are we actually making choices, or are we just executing scripts?
It's a really uncomfortable thought. But if you look at the neurology of it, the answer is, well, it's leaning heavily towards the script. I mean, a massive percentage of our waking life is run by the basal ganglia. That's the primitive part of the brain that basically manages automated patterns. We're not really piloting the ship, the autopilot is.
And that autopilot is what we call habit.
That's it. And that right there is the core tension of what we're looking at today. Habits are effectively the only way to achieve anything great because they compound. But they're also the easiest way to slide into mediocrity.
Because they're invisible.
They're invisible. You don't realize the autopilot is crashing the plane until it's way too late.
Which brings us to Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, I want to be very specific right off the bat. We are not doing this deep dive to give you a morning routine checklist.
Right, or tell you to drink more water.
No, we are analyzing this book as a manual on behavioral engineering. The goal today is to strip away the self-help fluff and look at the actual, the mechanics of why we do what we do.
That's the mission. We're moving past the what and really digging into the how and, honestly, the why.
So let's start with the math, because the book opens with this concept that it sounds a little like motivational hyperbole. But Clear insists it's just statistics. He calls it the mathematics of destiny.
It's just the concept of compounding, but applied to our behavior. We all get compound interest in finance, right? Money makes money.
Sure.
But we fail to see it in our own choices because the feedback loop is too long. So Clear's argument is the 1% rule. If you get 1% better each day for a year, mathematically, you don't end up 365% better.
It's way more.
It's 37 times better.
37 times. That number always it staggers me.
It's exponential. But the inverse is where people really get wrecked. If you get 1% worse each day, a tiny error, a small lapse in judgment.
Skipping the gym just one more time.
Exactly. You don't just stay flat. You degrade down to almost zero.
Okay, but here's my issue with that math. As humans, we're terrible at visualizing exponential curves. We think in straight lines.
We do.
If I run for 20 minutes today, I expect to look, roughly 1% fitter in the mirror tomorrow. And when I don't, I feel like the math is a lie.
And that is exactly why people quit. This is what Clear calls the valley of disappointment.
Right.
In the early stages of any compounding process, the results they're invisible. You're putting in the work, but the graph looks totally flat. You feel like you're just shouting into the void.
Yeah.
You are in the valley.
The source material uses that bamboo analogy, which I think is just perfect for this specific frustration.
It is the Chinese bamboo tree. You plant it, you water it, and for 5 years you see absolutely nothing.
It's just dirt.
Just dirt. If you didn't know better, you'd think the seed was dead. But then, in the 5th year, over about 6 weeks, it shoots up 90 feet.
And the philosophical trap there is thinking all the growth happened in those 6 weeks.
Right. The growth actually happened in the 5 years. He was building this massive root system, something capable of supporting a 90-foot structure. If it had shot up in year 1 without the roots, it would just collapsed.
So overnight success is a myth.
It's a total myth. You're just seeing the 6 weeks of visibility after 5 years of rooting.
This connects directly to why our obsession with goals is actually a problem. We live in a world that worships goals, revenue targets, weight loss numbers, you name it. But the argument here is that goals are actually at odds with long-term progress.
It sounds controversial, but it's true. Goals suffer from a binary survivorship bias. We look at the winners and say, see, they had a goal to win gold, but the losers also had a goal to win gold. The goal wasn't the differentiator.
Plus, a goal is just a temporary state. I want to clean my room. Okay, great. You clean it, you met the goal. But if you haven't changed the system of how you live...
The room is messy again in 3 days.
Exactly.
A goal is a momentary change in outcome. A system is a permanent change in process. If you fix the system, the inputs, the outputs, well, they fix themselves. You don't need to stare at the scoreboard to win the game.
In fact, staring at the scoreboard often distracts you from actually playing.
It really does.
Okay, so if the math says focus on the slope, not the result, and the strategy is systems over goals, Where does the human element fit in? Because you can have a perfect system on paper, but if you don't feel like doing it, the whole thing falls apart.
This is the pivot point of the whole philosophy, and it's the concept of identity-based habits.
Okay.
Most people, they try to change from the outside in. They focus on the outcome. I want to be skinny. Then the process, so I will run. But they never touch their identity. They still see themselves as a lazy person who's trying to run.
Right. I remember the example of the smoker. Two people are offered a cigarette. One says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit."
And the other one says,
"No thanks, I'm not a smoker."
It sounds like semantics, but it is deep neurological architecture. The first person still identifies as a smoker who is depriving themselves. That takes willpower, and willpower is a battery. It drains. The second person has shifted their identity. They aren't resisting anything. They are just acting in alignment with who they are. A non-smoker doesn't smoke. No willpower needed.
But hold on a second. You can't just stand in front of a mirror and lie to yourself, can you? I'm an astronaut, I'm an astronaut. That's just delusion. How do you actually shift an identity without just faking it?
That is a crucial distinction. The brain needs evidence. This is the feedback loop. Every single action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become.
A vote.
A vote. If you write one page, you just cast a vote for, I am a writer. If you go to the gym, even for 5 minutes, you cast a vote for, I am an athlete.
So it's like a democracy of the self.
Precisely. And eventually, the ballot box gets so full of these votes that the identity just shifts. You don't have to force it anymore because the evidence is undeniable.
It's also kind of a warning for how we label other people, especially kids or employees.
Oh, a huge warning. If a teacher tells a kid, you're bad at math, they are handing that child an identity script. And the child will subconsciously sabotage their own efforts to align with that identity.
Because the brain hates that conflict.
It hates cognitive dissonance. We desperately want our actions to match our labels, so we have to be incredibly careful about the scripts we hand out.
Okay, so we've got the math, which is compounding. We've got the psychology, which is identity. Now we need the engineering, the how-to.
The 4 laws.
The book breaks this down to 4 laws, and these aren't just random rules. They map directly to that dopamine feedback loop, right?
They do. The loop is cue, craving, response, reward. Every single habit, good or bad, follows this exact path. Your phone buzzes, it's the cue.
Yeah.
You feel curious, craving, you check it, response, you feel relief, reward. Clear's 4 laws are basically a hack for each stage of that loop.
All right, let's run through them. Law 1 addresses the cue. Make it obvious.
This is all about environment design. We think we make these grand decisions, but mostly we just react to whatever's in front of us. If you want to practice guitar, but it's in the case in the back of the closet, you're not going to play it.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Literally. The visual cortex takes up a huge amount of brain power. So you have to redesign the space, put the book you want to read on your pillow, put the apples in a bowl on the counter, not hidden in the crisper drawer.
And the inverse is arguably more powerful, right? Make it invisible.
Exactly. If you want to stop checking Instagram all day, delete the app from your phone. If you want to stop eating junk, just don't buy it. You can't rely on self-control. You have to rely on your environment.
It's a little terrifying how much we're just products of our room layout.
Okay, so law 2. It addresses the craving, make it attractive. How do we make doing the hard thing feel good before we even do it?
You have to hijack the dopamine system. One way is something called temptation bundling. You pair an action you need to do with an action you want to do.
Like you only allow yourself to listen to your favorite true crime podcast while you're folding the laundry?
Exactly. Your brain starts to look forward to the laundry because it's craving the podcast. And another huge part of attractiveness is social. We are tribal animals. The most effective way to build a habit is to join a group where your desired behavior is the normal behavior.
So using peer pressure as a productivity tool.
It works. If all your friends are runners, running just seems normal. If you're in a book club, reading seems normal. We mimic the tribe to ensure our survival. If you want to change your habits, maybe you need to change your tribe.
Okay, law 3. This is the one I think I struggle with the most because it feels counterintuitive. Make it easy. This is for the response part of the loop. We have this tendency to overcomplicate things. We want the perfect plan. Clear calls this the difference between being in motion versus taking action.
Motion versus action.
Motion is planning, researching, strategizing. It feels like progress, but it doesn't actually produce anything. Action is the thing that produces a result.
And motion is safer. You can't fail at planning. You can definitely fail at doing.
Precisely. So to get to action, you have to reduce the friction. This brings us to the 2-minute rule.
Which, I have to be honest, always sounded a bit ridiculous to me. Read for 2 minutes, run for 2 minutes. You're not going to get fit in 2 minutes. It feels like a gimmick.
It feels like a gimmick because you're still looking at the outcome. But the goal isn't the workout. The goal is to master the habit of working out. You have to standardize before you can optimize. You can't improve a habit that doesn't exist.
So it's all about lowering the entry costs.
Exactly. If the goal is run 5 miles, your brain sees a huge energy cost and it resists. But if the goal is just put on running shoes, the cost is basically zero.
And once the shoes are on?
You've broken the seal, you might as well go for a little run. You're just tricking your brain into starting. A habit must be established before it can be improved.
Finally, Law 4. Make it satisfying. The reward.
This one is tricky because evolution has kind of worked against us here. We live in what's called a delayed return environment. You save money now, you get rich in 20 years, you eat a salad now, you get healthy in a year.
But the brain wants the donut now.
Right. It's the boiling frog problem. Bad habits feel good now and kill you later. Good habits feel bad now and save you later.
So you have to somehow bring the reward forward.
You have to make the immediate experience satisfying. And the best tool for this is a habit tracker. Just a calendar where you put a big X on the days you do the habit.
The old Seinfeld strategy. Don't break the chain.
It sounds so simple, but it leverages our visual desire to see progress. The satisfaction comes not from the six-pack abs, which are months away, but from seeing that X on the calendar today. You get an immediate little hit of, I did it.
However, there's a trap here too, right? We have to talk about Goodhart's Law.
Yes. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. If you become so obsessed with the streak, with the chain, that you start doing shoddy work just to check the box,
you've defeated the whole purpose.
The tracker is a tool, not the master. You're trying to build a lifestyle, not just fill out a spreadsheet.
This leads us into the advanced class then. Let's say we've done all this, we've built the habits, we're showing up every day. Is there a downside? Can you become too habitual?
You absolutely can. And this is a nuance a lot of people miss. Habits are great because they automate the basics, which frees up your mental space. But the dark side is that you stop paying attention.
You go on autopilot.
Exactly. You're doing the thing, but you aren't actually getting better at it. You're just reinforcing your current level of skill.
So repetition on its own doesn't equal improvement?
Not at all. The formula for mastery is habit plus deliberate practice. You need the habit to get you in the room, but once you're there, you have to keep pushing the difficulty. You need to be just a little bit uncomfortable.
This is that flow state concept, that zone where the challenge perfectly matches your skill.
That's it. If it's too easy, you're bored. If it's too hard, you're anxious. Mastery is about surfing that tiny edge between boredom and anxiety. You have to constantly architect your practice to stay in that channel.
And we should probably acknowledge not everyone can master everything. The book touches on the role of genetics and personality.
It's the know thyself part of the equation. We all have different lanes. A great litmus test for finding your calling is to ask yourself, what feels like work to other people, but feels like play to me?
Or maybe, what kind of pain can I handle that others can't?
That's probably more accurate. Everyone wants the gold medal. Not everyone can handle the pain of the training. If you actually enjoy the boring parts, you've probably found your lane.
And that all connects back to identity, but there's a final warning in the material about identity, the danger of identity paralysis.
It's a concept from Paul Graham. Keep your identity small. Yeah. If you wrapped your entire self-worth around one single thing, I am a CEO, or I am a soldier, you become incredibly fragile. If you lose that job or you get injured, you lose yourself. You've effectively kidnapped yourself with a label.
So the goal is to have an identity that's more flexible.
It should be a platform, not a fortress. An identity like, I am a learner, or I am someone who shows up. Those can survive any career change, any life event.
So to try and bring all this together, we aren't just robots executing scripts, but we are creatures of habit. And if we don't consciously design those habits, they will be designed for us by our environment and our impulses.
That's the big takeaway. Life is just the sum of these tiny 1% interactions. It's not about the one big moment of transformation. It's about the architecture of the everyday.
It's empowering in a strange way. It takes all the mysticism out of success. It's just math and engineering.
Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. You can't control your destiny directly, but you absolutely can control your habits. And your habits, in the end, control your destiny.
If you find yourself wrestling with these invisible scripts in your own life, and you want to keep untangling the knots of human behavior, make sure to hit subscribe on clear thinking. Let's decode the hidden corners of the mind together every week.
It's the only way to really change the story.
I want to leave you with one final thought to carry around today. We talked about how every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. So just look at what you did in the last hour. Look at what you're about to do.
If your life is a ballot box, who are you voting for right now?
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next deep dive.